Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the USA Library's Out Galleries Art Talk. Our artist this week has been Rita Williams, and Rita has been wonderfully gracious in accepting and coming and talking with us today for the next hour or so, telling us about her pieces, which has been very popular on our page, and I've seen it being shared around quite a bit. So, but first off, Kristen was there. She was going to introduce Rita, and she may yet in just a moment. We will pause for just a few seconds. We're having some technical difficulties, which is not unusual, especially when you have something so special like Rita.
Thank you.
That's okay. We make it happen. Okay, there we go. All
Okay,
right,
somebody tried to call me.
Okay, Kristen.
I figured it out. I had to be on Wi-Fi and airplane mode. So I'm on
Awesome.
Wi-Fi and airplane mode. I had to
All right,
cut
cool.
off my cellular. That was the difference.
All right, cool. Well, Kristen, let's tell. You're with Black Belt Treasures. Okay, Kristen, are you there? And then we lost sound. We're having fun. Okay. Okay, she will be. That's okay.
Make more light for you guys. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No problem. We lost Kristen again, so we gotta wait 1 second. Oh, there she is. Okay. I think. Kristen, are you there? Hello. Not quite sure if we got her. Well, nope, she'll come back in a moment. It's okay, she'll be back in just a minute. Nobody's watching us yet, so we're good.
Good job. She'll be back.
She'll be back. Sometimes this happens. This is real world stuff here.
Yes, it is. And I'm kind of glad because I'm still trying to make more light for you guys.
Oh, okay. Thank you. We're waiting for Kristen to get back. That's all.
Hopefully it is. I'm just going to make
okay.
Keep bothering it.
That's okay. We roll with it. Oh, there she is. Okay. All right, Kristen. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, I'm switching out and for you to tell Rita's story.
Okay. Well, I apologize. We are in Camden, Alabama, having some internet issues, so I've had to go back to cellular, and it's just the internet was not working today. But so proud to introduce our good friend Rita Williams. She has been an artist with us at Black Belt Treasures for going on about 2 years now, and we were so excited to meet her. Introduced by a friend of ours in Pike Road, where she teaches and works at the Pike Road schools. And I want to read what her biography says that we give out, because I can't say it as well as this does. Rita told her story like this. I got started in this art back in 2014 or 15. I'd lost my brother and had not been successful in medical school, so I was in a really dark place. Soon after, my mother and best friend died within a month of each other. Art helped me heal and has been a full-blown passion and obsession. She added, I have zero training. Perhaps that's why my art is crazy looking, which I do disagree with. It's beautiful. While growing up in Tuskegee, Rita's parents taught her Native American and African American history. She said that the townspeople, although many were impoverished, were proud and hardworking. History surrounded me and was a constant in my life, especially with Tuskegee University right there in the city. Rita returned home after college and later reflected that her father purposefully moved the family to Tuskegee to avoid the pain his generation suffered due to the segregation that he had experienced growing up in Memphis, Tennessee. And I just don't think I could have shared that any better than what was written on our biography about Rita. I would like to add that the day we met her, we were shocked to find out that was the first day she had shared her art with anybody. And her students were running up and going, Miss Williams, you made this. You Miss Williams, you made this. And as you can see from her, actually, the photo you're looking at right now is the day that we met Rita. And that, I cherish that picture. That's Sue Lynn, our executive director in the center, and Rita and I holding some of her work. And as you can see, just, she says she has no training, but her training comes from her soul and her spirit and her life. And we wouldn't want to see it any other way. She has come up with her own techniques, her own style. She invents different ways. The hair on that one piece, I believe, has noodles, and she may tell you that later. But she really doesn't need training to tell the stories that she has to tell, and they're all so personal. And she and I were just having a discussion last week about making sure she includes the back of her paintings in her photographs when she records them, because she writes the story on the back, and it's of equal importance to the front of the piece. She tells the story of each one on the back so that it goes with it, because they are so powerful and just so beautiful. And I know they come from her heart, and you can see it in each work that she does. And she has been to Auburn University with us, to Pebble Hill, and she'll be back with us this Christmas season at Pebble Hill for a one-day event and sharing her story with people there. And we just couldn't be more proud of the artist she is turning into and the recognition she is getting, because it is truly, truly deserved. So thank you, Rita.
Thank you very much for that introduction and for inviting me, and just giving me the chance. The Black Belt Gallery really gave me a chance, and I so appreciate it. I could have never imagined in my wildest dreams that they would have walked into my life, and I would have been blessed like this, because it is indeed an amazing passion, and it's all consuming, actually. So
I think we are all the ones that are blessed, us and the people who see your art. I mean, I'll never forget the day that the first painting sold, and I took a picture of the lady that bought it and sent it to you.
Oh, yeah.
And we sat there and cried over the phone together. And you were like, really? Really?
I could not believe
We
it.
were like,
I mean,
you
it was
just don't
amazing.
understand.
Did you send me the photograph, Kristen?
No, I didn't, because I didn't get a chance to speak to the collector, and I didn't want to share her image without her permission.
Makes sense.
And
Okay, because I have the other ones here that she sent me, and there's one.
that is at Auburn. That's at Auburn University at Pebble Hill. Mark Wilson, we partner with Pebble Hill on several projects, and this is a holiday event where we take Black Belt treasures to Pebble Hill, and Rita was one of the first artists to go with us to that event.
Okay, very, very cool. That's the other one, that one, and then is this also, let me make it bigger. And this also was also at Auburn?
No, that was the first
That's
day.
at her school.
That's the first day that we met. Yes.
Oh, fabulous.
Yes.
That was the first day. Yes.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, well, Miss Rita, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm going to start at the beginning of this journey. But I was actually, I'm going to just give you a brief rundown. I was born in Nashville, Tennessee. My mom and dad met at Tennessee State. My dad was at Meharry Medical College at the time, and my mother was at Tennessee State. I have had a brother, and I currently have two sisters, actually another brother as well, and two sisters. But from Nashville, we went to Arkansas. From Nashville, we went to North Dakota, where my father served. And then we went to Arkansas, Blytheville, Arkansas, where my youngest sister was born. And then from there, we went to Tuskegee. And I was 9 when we moved to Tuskegee, 8 or 9 when we moved to Tuskegee. And I stayed there throughout, went to high school, did not do well in high school, had a lot of, back then, certain learning differences came out as disciplinary. You know, people didn't know it then though. But I spent a lot of time in the principal's office. I'm not proud of that, but spent a lot of time in the principal's office. But finally struggled through and got into Tuskegee University, so I stayed home. After that, I actually went on and moved to Maryland, the Maryland, D.C. area. From there, I actually went to graduate school at St. Louis, and it was there that I realized when she was a counselor, a coordinator, educational coordinator, told me that she thought perhaps I needed to be tested because I could get up and teach and draw my way through, but it was very hard for me to sit down with a book and observe. And so what I was doing was I wasn't doing well at all in the program unless I was able to draw. And so she thought, you know, maybe you need to be tested. When I was tested in St. Louis, I did find out that, you know, there were some learning differences, and that gave me a boost in my confidence because by that time, you know, I had been out of college for a while, and it helped my confidence when I saw my IQ, of course. However, you know, I would also think about how much time I had spent thinking, you know, that something was wrong with me. And so from there on, I did incorporate drawing. And I eventually got into medical school at Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia. That's where my mom's from. And I continued to draw, but the amount of material, it's not that the material's hard in medical school, but the amount that you're given. And so you can understand that you know, that would be overwhelming. So what I did was I drew a lot, but it was hard for me to pass like the mini boards and things like that. And so when that didn't work out, I came back home. My family welcomed me back home, and I pretty much had to start over. I mean, it was devastating. I mean, just absolutely devastating. Because I did so well in the clinical part, but not in the academic setting. So I went back to Tuskegee, to Montgomery, because my mom had moved to Montgomery, and I was welcomed back by my family. They took me in, and I, you know, I found a job and everything, and then my mom got really sick. But I want to go back for a second. The medical school, it seems like the crushing part was my brother died when I was in my second year. And I just, you know, that was devastating. And then I went home to Montgomery, and a couple years later, my mom, we found out that she had Parkinson's. So that was a double whammy there. However, I started painting. And I would tell my mom, like, on the phone, because some days she wouldn't have good days, but she had never seen it. And the night that we took her to the hospital, I had some paintings in the car because I thought she was coming out of the hospital, but she never did. So she never got to see any of any of it. But that pain and losing my best friend a month after my mother, which was in 2015, propelled me to continue on, and it just increased. And every day I do something with painting. I mean, if not all day, every day I do. So I ended up working with a lot of with young kids in Pike Road that also have they're just brilliant, but have special, you know, learning differences. And so that helped me to look outside of myself, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
Wow.
So they're my biggest fans, as far as, I mean, aside from my family, as far as my art. but I literally had not shown anybody the art. And when the kids saw it, they were like, I want the baby one. I want this one. I want that one. They were so upset when the struggle bus sold.
Oh, wow.
Because I would always tell them if they were having a bad day, I was like, you're on the struggle bus. You're on the struggle bus this morning. And they'd say, oh, because they like to laugh. And being that kid that they are, it was very easy for me to become, just absorbed in helping them to learn and stuff. And when that light bulb goes off, that's the greatest. So a lot of them, it's just a lot of people out there that are just amazing that you never know.
No, the struggle bus, did you make prints of that or anything, or you only made one painting?
Only made one painting, but it was 3D. So I've not figured out I didn't know how to make prints. I actually didn't know anything about anything except sitting down with the art. And I know that also, I was so happy when Black Belt came along, because it helped me to at least direct that anxiety of having to try to sell it myself and stuff. But I do know, I have the copyrights pending and everything, but I do know that I do want to sell prints. I see how people can, I've never, it never dawned on me, other than pursuing a life in medicine, that I could find anything else that would be as fulfilling, but it has actually exceeded that.
Wow.
So it's a business, but it's like, sometimes I'm just like, no, I just want to paint. I just want to paint. But that part of it is very important. And I will eventually talk to Kristen about, the prints and all of that stuff. Getting all that stuff out.
Okay.
But
very
every
cool.
one of them is just unique.
Oh yeah, I love your pieces. They've done so well on our site. People have been passing them around, and they're just they've done very, very well.
Never know.
You never do. People have enjoyed them. I am going to bring up a few. Kristen. Emma, you have any questions?
Hi, Emma.
Hello. No, I remember you talking about how your art, you used it as a way to deal with the grief of your friend's passing and your mother's passing. And that really, I just want to ask, do you think that was like the best? But I'm trying to form a question in my head, and it's not
no problem. I do the same thing.
Did that really work for you? Like, did it help a lot?
As far as dealing with the grief?
Yeah.
Like therapeutic?
Yeah, it was therapeutic.
Yes, it was absolutely therapeutic. It still is. And it's, when anybody knows when you've lost somebody, it's a journey. And you're just trying to find your way out of this tunnel. And sometimes you leave that tunnel and you come back in. So it never gets easier. It just gets further away. But the more art I make, the more, of course, I go from wishing that I had, beating myself up about it, wishing that I had shown my mother. And I switched to a place where I know she would be proud of it. So, it definitely lessens and diffuses the grief, for sure. Because had I not been in medical school when my brother died, or had I started doing art, that probably would have helped too. But by the time I started doing art, it was 2 or 3 people, that had passed. And so I had so much to work through. But it has been just an absolute blessing.
Well, thank you for answering the question that I couldn't ask correctly.
That was a great question, though. Thank you.
It is.
You did.
It is.
It is a difficult.
Yes.
I'm going to bring up one of your pieces, and We'd like for you to tell us a little bit about them. This is one of the ones I've shown this week. And like your method, what your thoughts were. This one actually has a name. What was the name of the person? Was this named after a person?
Yes. Anarcha Wilcott. Yes. I think I have her last name is Wilcott. She was actually I was online one day and I was just reading and or it was on Audible or something. And I found out about a 17-year-old. She was a 17-year-old slave. And she actually was from the same area in Macon County, which is Tuskegee, that I grew up in. And she was the subject, and a couple more women, and I don't remember their names. I was just struck that she was 17 and she was the subject of experiments, like OBGYN obstetrical experiments. And there's a doctor named Dr. Sims that was experimenting. And I think what blew me away the most, and it will for you all too, because you're women, that he was doing ovarectomies, like taking their ovaries out, but without any anesthesia. And then they'd have to go back and work. She had a very difficult, she had a defect that was some type of gynecological defect, and he was interested in studying that. And what would happen is that he would have his medical students hold her down while he did those experiments, to the point where some of the medical students finally said, we can't do this anymore because of the pain that they knew that she was going through. But I thought it to be interesting that he was able to have a statue and be commemorated, and the world had forgotten or had never even paid attention to her. And she was actually critical in, him devising all of these medical instruments and perfecting different procedures because of her. But yeah, she was 17, and it was amazing to me, the story, that she had never been celebrated or anything. So I did this in a way to, it was just in my mind, a way to, when I thought about her being in so much pain, and I could never, nobody could ever depict that, but that was, to think that she had to go back to work. Wow. I just imagined her laying in a field, trying to just get through it.
Oh, we actually have a question. Mike Turner is following us. Hi, and he's asked, what media and materials were used in this piece? There's some interesting texture and color elements. How did you achieve them?
Okay. Hi. Thank you for the question, Mike. I have only used acrylic. So that's acrylic paint. What I did discover, though, was a lot of times if I want different texture, like I said, I was not classically trained. So I really didn't learn about media or anything. I would just find little things and say that with the texture and everything, I would use Mod Podge to glue down pieces and scraps of paper and make them in different shapes. And then I'd allow them to dry and I paint over them. And then I'll use, some gloss or anything. But the colors come to me pretty easy when I'm not stressed. But I've never, since I'm not, I've never used a whole lot of mediums until I just found out about it. But the cotton on there is actually the caulk that you use to use on home improvement and things like that.
Let me make, I'm going to make Kristen live because she's got your actual piece.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to move her up while you're talking.
Right, I'm trying to hold it sideways a little.
So this piece is for sale. Is that correct?
Yes. Everything she has of mine is.
Yes, it's here.
Yes. And all of those, the little indentations and the 3D type texture looking thingies, that's caulk, or either
Okay.
it's paper I've placed on top of that and painted.
It really adds a whole new dimension to the
Thank you
work.
so much.
It does. It does add serious. It's awesome. Okay. Like I said, I brought up a few. We have quite a few showing this week. This was one that we showed earlier this week too. Let me bring it up. There we go. Do you have that one there?
Yeah.
Oh, she's got that one there live. Awesome.
We do.
Okay.
This one was my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Miss Rita, tell us about this one.
That one was, the name of it is My Neck, My Back. And I actually just thought of actually Tuskegee, because that's what my backyard, the people of course weren't there and the cotton wasn't there. But that's what the trees look like to me. I just remember placing myself back, during that time. And it was a very familiar field, and I just decided that I would, place people working, the ladies pregnant. I'm sure that has something to do with, me growing up working in my dad's office. But just thinking that, you're real pregnant and you're out there working. And of course, the first over to the far left, he's holding his neck. She's the pregnant lady's holding her back.
Wow.
And, yeah, my neck, my back. And then, of course, the larger woman's holding her back, and so is the young boy. So I just wanted to depict, through it all, the strength and resilience that that people who are going through the struggle have to endure. And that was actually the name of a song that was not, we could not play, but I just decided to name it that.
Wow. That's amazing.
Thank
And
you.
this one's for sale at Black Belt Treasures, correct?
Yeah. Anything that she pulled, yes.
Okay. Very nice. All right. This is the one this week that we also showed. I don't know if they have the little girls.
I think she does. Yes.
Okay.
I'm
I
looking.
don't know if she's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there it is. This one is called, sometimes I know what
I
the
can't
name of it.
reach it.
Oh, that's okay.
It's okay. Sometimes I'll know, sometimes I name them first. Sometimes I paint first. Sometimes I change the name. But this one I thought was so interesting because I saw a friend of mine sent a picture of two little girls, school. They were like, they're in kindergarten, I think. They're best friends. And they were just sitting, looking at a pep rally. And so I saw the picture, and in my mind, I thought, wow, that's amazing. And so I started drawing and envisioning, how they would remain that way if adults or the world didn't intervene, because you don't, when you're young, you don't know any different. You might see somebody that looks different, but you don't, the innocence is there. And so I thought about it when I thought about a Ruby, I think it's Ruby Bridges quote, and she was just saying, leave kids out of this as far as racism. And I decided to name that Do Not Disturb. So those are best friends.
That's great. Okay, let's see. We have the next one. Have that one.
And I'm just going to say right now, while
Definitely that one.
the Ruby Bridgers, I think the quote was something like, racism is an adult disease.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't
Yeah.
bring our children into it or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Wow. Now this one was amazing. And I knew there was a story behind this one, but I knew you could tell it the best.
Okay. This is actually one of my favorites because I was inspired to do this because of, like I said, I draw a lot on real life experiences. And this one is called First Do No Harm. As you can see, there's two nurses and a doctor in the front, and there's a lot of men in the back with hats. And this one it's called First Do No Harm, and this is the Tuskegee experiment. Mm-hmm. So people in the South, a lot of people are familiar, especially now with COVID and a lot of the hesitancy around getting the vaccine, and just in general, as far as the disparities, racial disparities in medicine. And those were the men that were depicted there in the Tuskegee study, and the doctor and the two nurses. You know, it's hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when we read back now, we know that they knew that there was actually a cure for, or at least, penicillin. And I remember some of the descendants were patients of my dad's. So I just decided, that I would do this. And you can't really see, but I drew also from medical school, where I learned about studying, the course of the disease. The sky, if you were to see it in person, the sky shows the little corkscrew shaped syphilis organism.
Oh, wow.
So you can't really see that, but it's in the sky, and it looks like kind of like shooting stars. But if we learned that in pathology.
Wow. The hats are all different colors. Is there a reason?
I wanted to make the hats different colors because when we think of color, we think of personality, we think of life, we think of just happiness. So I wanted to, a lot of times we study things in history and they're all in black and white, but I wanted to at least pay respect. And my respect was through the colors, because these were people. These were people that had lives. They were alive. They were happy. They went through the same emotions we do. And that to me symbolized life, color, and individuality,
Wow. Do you have an artist that inspires you? Is there anybody in particular that you want to emulate, or that you've seen and you're like, I like some elements of their work, but I want to incorporate these other different pieces to make my own unique pieces in my own unique way? Is there somebody that you particularly focused upon that you like?
I think for me, it was always Mose Tolliver.
Mm-hmm.
He was from the Pike Road area, and I know my mom collected his art when she was alive. She actually was fortunate enough to meet him, and before he died. But his story of perseverance, because he had not painted before he was injured, and that really helped me and inspired me. And I absolutely love his work. I love a lot of artists' work, but especially his.
Okay. All right, cool. It's neat that you knew. So you met him and talked with him and knew him, and
No, my mom
oh,
got to
okay.
meet him, and I think it was through my stepfather, who might have known his daughter or something like that. But no, I didn't meet him. My mother got a chance to meet him, and he had this art all, just stacked up around the house.
Wow.
And his daughter was selling it too. So, yeah, she did. And, I would think, wow, that's some weird kind of, but then I could see it was brilliant.
Wow. Now, do you have a favorite method, a favorite thing you like to do consistently through your pieces that's uniquely yours, or something that you just love to do, that you have to have it in every painting?
I think it's so weird because my paintings always start off with I have a notebook that I have just hundreds of ideas, but my mind won't. I can't, and there's not that much time for me to create all the art. However, it always starts with a thought or something that I've been through, or something that somebody else is going through. A lot of it has to do with struggle or how life intervenes. So the method is that I, even at night, I have to have a notebook and I write down something that I'm thinking, and then I develop the art around that.
Wow.
I do want to learn how to maybe do some pottery and things like that, or metal. I don't know where to start. I went to Chicago and I saw this, I don't know if it was 100 feet tall man that was just standing at the beach, and it was made out of metal. It was just amazing. I was like, that is so cool, but I would blow myself up with some.
We have some welding artists down here in Mobile.
Oh, really?
Luperkella Art Gallery. There's I can't remember her name right off, but his name is, oh gosh, what's his name, Emma? Trey Oliver.
Trey Oliver.
Yeah, it's his name. He owns Luperkella, and he would be great to talk to. With getting you connected with the artist that she welds. And she had never done it before herself, but she took it upon. She had a tragedy or something happen in her own life. And so she decided to take up welding, and she makes welded crosses.
Oh, wow.
And sells them. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous. They're at Luperkella down here in Mobile. And then, so there's options, and there's a lot of pottery down here too.
And if I can.
Oh, and there is at Black Belt.
Yeah. And pottery, Rita.
That's what I was talking about that.
You can come do pottery with me.
I would love to.
Anytime. And I think, and I know you met Mary Virginia Petway. She was to Auburn with us, and she and her husband Danny live right in your neighborhood, or right around the corner. And they do fabricating and welding. So I think we could probably hook you all up, and you are right down the road from each other. So
definitely.
That is
I
excellent.
think we need to make that happen.
I would love to do that. That would be great. That would be excellent. I appreciate that. Mosaic too. I guess that's tile, right? Yeah.
Awesome.
Very cool. Oh, yeah. I love that resource in the Delta. That is just awesome.
Linda Munoz. But.
Oh.
Very, very cool. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I usually ask this question. How do you advise people to get started?
Just start.
Art.
I think because the first thing people say, whether they're adults or children, I don't know how to draw. That's what they say. Well, I don't know how to draw. I can't do art. But art is anything that is passionate to you, or that you're able to express yourself through. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can look around anywhere and see that you don't have to know how to draw. But if there's enough passion behind it, then it will come out as art. Everything is art. I mean, and so I don't think that they should hesitate or if they can do something to get over that hurdle of, oh, I can't draw, or, you know, I've not been trained. Of course, I mean, I did, like Kristen said, I did mine in pretty much by myself, and it was just stacking up. And a friend, one day, she had never seen it, but she asked me, well, what are you going to do with it? And I was like, it's nothing. It just is. And then, you know, I bought in the struggle bus for the kids to see. That's how Miss Kinney was a teacher. Miss Kinney, Catherine Kinney. She said, do you mind if I talk to somebody about this? And I was like, no. And that's how the whole ball got rolling, where everything got rolling.
That's cool. Okay, I usually ask this last question for everybody. We are with the University of South Alabama, and so we always ask, do you have a piece of advice to give our students?
Me? Or
a piece of advice just to give our students, something that you've learned in your life that you can share with our students.
Yes. And I wish that I had the painting now to show you. It's my favorite painting, and it's still it actually moves me to see it today. And I think that I'm going to redo it so it's not 3D and it can be in print. But it's called Drowning in a Sea of Hands, and it's a child with their head down, which is me, and there's just hands all around her. And it's regardless of what you're going through academically or emotionally or anything, find somebody that you trust, talk to them, because there's a path forward, and that path forward, there it is. And that path forward will turn out to be something that's a blessing and a more, you know, the most beautiful journey you can ever imagine. And that's discovering, you know, yourself and your passion. So whatever it is, don't give up and just believe in yourself, and there's a way.
All right. Very, very cool. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate talking to you. And this is awesome. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. I hope y'all had a good time. And thank you so much, Rita. And we'll talk to y'all soon.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for the questions that everybody wanted to ask. I appreciate it. Thank you, Kristen. Bye, Emma.
Bye, Rita. We love you.
Love you too.
Thanks, Paula.